you're the secretariat in so many ways of the workings of the presidency, and the NIKA, of course. That's very important. Everything in government, not just our national security, but in all agencies need the utilization of intel information. And we say this in the wake of the very unfortunate tragedy in Davao. Yeah. Okay, so we just read into the record the presence of PMS and NIKA, and then we proceed with the budget. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We would like to acknowledge the presence of the officers of the Presidential Management Staff, Mr. Ferdinand Cui Jr., Acting Head, Ms. Vivian Arpuno, Assistant Secretary, Mr. Jose Wilfrido Oca, Assistant Secretary, Ms. Marieta Tamondong, Assistant Secretary, Mr. Victor V. Lorenzo, Office of the ASEC for Regional Concerns, and from the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, we would like to acknowledge Director General Alex Paul Monteagudo, Assistant Director General Carol Luz Guerrero, Assistant Director General Melinda Agustin, Assistant Director General Roberton Lapus, Assistant Director General Jeffrey S. Sodusta, Assistant Director General Ruth Galila. Thank you.
Thank you. We recognize Senator Greg Honasan, Chairman of the Defense Committee. Yes. Okay. Then who will present for PMS? We do PMS first.
I will, Madam
Yes.
Chair. Good
Why are
afternoon.
you acting? There's no designation yet for PMS head.
None yet, ma'am. I'm a career official po. I'm
Yes.
SES1.
Okay.
Long time undersecretary since 2000.
I see. So why are you not permanent? Because is someone going to be assigned to head PMS?
No
We're not
decision
certain.
has been made yet on
I
that
see.
matter, ma'am.
Okay.
We report directly to the Special Assistant to the President per Executive Order number 1,
Who's the special assistant?
Mr. Bongo.
That's a new creation of a position? No.
That's actually been existing before, ma'am, but
it
it's
was
been
not filled.
reconfigured, and the functions have been defined by virtue of Executive Order number 1, series of 2016.
So PMS as an acting head reporting to the special assistant who reports to the president.
Yes, ma'am.
And that special assistant position has been in existence since before.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was
Under
a special assistant before in the previous administration?
under PGMA, it was Undersecretary Erling De Leon.
Who was in President Aquino's time?
I think it was Maria Lourdes Ong.
And the PMS reports to the special assistant, then to the president.
Only under this administration, ma'am,
Okay.
because
Yes.
of EO1.
Yes, Senator Craig.
Secretary Quinn, I just want to take advantage of this opportunity to raise the issue that the chair raised. Now, there seems to be a slow pace of appointments. I'm talking about official appointments. We have raised this already in several hearings. It is affecting decision making at various levels of the bureaucracy. It might impact on our revenue generating capacity. So we place this at your doorstep so that you can probably refer this to those who are supposed to handle this. Second issue, would you happen to know when the LEDAC will finally take place? Because we find ourselves in a very awkward position where I suppose our national order of priorities will be a derivative of the LEDAC. Now we are gaining some momentum and traction in the budget deliberations. We again place this at your doorstep para the sooner we can hold the LEDAC, I think the better for the country. The budget, I suppose, is a subsidiary or a consequence of how we prioritize our national concerns. So I'm just putting it at your doorstep with the permission of Madam Chair.
Thank you for that. We
Thank you.
recognize Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Do you request for an answer for that, Senator Greg, or is it a statement?
It's just a statement. Maybe the sooner you can give us your answers, the better.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, sir. On the first point, this has been put to the topmost management's attention, and efforts have already been undertaken to speed up the appointments process. In fact, just last week, a lot of the major departments already have their top positions filled up, and as we speak, the appointments are being processed po. In fact, one of our directors almost did not make it to this budget hearing because she's directly in charge of the processing, but she's here with us right now. And on the second point, the LEDAC meeting schedule, we understand that this is on top of the President's priorities. We'll just remind the Appointment Secretary's office to nudge this a bit. Thank you, sir, for the reminder.
Listen to your budget now.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Your Honors. The PMS proposes a total budget of 412.5 million pesos for the year 2017, and we will focus on two major final outputs, namely the provision of decision inputs to the presidency and the management of presidential engagements and provision of secretariat support to the presidency, including that of the cabinet and its cabinet clusters. In terms of the particulars, Madam Chair, 55% of our proposed 2017 budget is for personnel services. The rest for MOE and capital outlay. So that's the disaggregation of the proposed 412.5 million budget. Now, comparing the 2016
Sorry,
and the 20...
You mentioned about, sorry to interrupt, the personnel services. Why are there only 326 out of the 399 authorized positions which have been filled?
That's right, Madam Chair.
Yes.
There's an ongoing
Recruitment.
by the Personnel and Selection Promotions Board, and this is based on our internal competency-based capability building program. So we have a competency-based recruitment process, Madam Chair.
So these vacancies were a holdover from the previous administration, meaning the past PMS also did not fill up these positions.
That's right po, Madam Chair.
Is there an advantage to not filling up the positions, meaning the funds that are not used for PS can within the same month be used as savings for MOE or for capital outlay? Is that how it's done? Since your career, you would know how it's done. Before you answer, I recognize Senator Laila De Lima. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is that how it's done? Because I noticed some agencies really do not fill up the PS, and it is considered savings, so it is realigned for capital outlay or MOE. Ginagawa yan? That's allowed, no? Pag ang PS, pwedeng gamitin MOE at saka CO, no? Kaya hindi nila pinupuno eh. Mga ahensya, puro ganun, puro unfilled, na? I mean, I'm not saying. I noticed that in most agencies that there's so many authorized positions which are unfilled. Maybe is that not connected to the question of Senator Onasan, the slow pace of the bureaucracy, because not all positions authorized are actually filled, and then we use it and realign it for something else. I guess the reason why there are such positions is so that those persons assigned to those staff work should do something related to that. But if you don't fill it, then all of you will have to double up on your tasks. Then we will not be as efficient as we want. I'm not certain. Unless there are no applicants in government because of the pay, and it's hard to recruit. I won't want to understand that.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the highly valid question. Actually, the answer to that lies in the fact that some of the positions are indeed below par compared to the private sector level salary. So we have those types. On the other hand, the PMS has adopted a need-based approach to selection and recruitment, meaning we don't recruit just because we want to fill up positions. We recruit because there's a clear need to do so. And in the past 6 months, we didn't do so because we wanted to first ascertain what the requirements of the next presidency would be. So we are just ascertaining that. In fact, we're closely monitoring our accomplishments data, and we're trying to re-engineer the structure of PMS as well as redeploy our human resources as we deem fit in the service of the presidency.
Thank you for that very candid answer. Now, my question is, if we see, for example, that these positions have been unfilled, not just for 1 year, for 2, 3, up to 5, 10 years, but continue to be there, that's part of the bureaucratic fat. We can actually trim the bureaucratic fat by limiting the PS based on need. Because I realize what you're saying, you're anticipating the need. But if there was a position unfilled for 5 years, it shows that the bureaucracy was able to move, and not filling up that position didn't matter at all. So would you be agreeable? And I will ask LBRMO if that's possible, so that in the next budget, that position which DBM allowed would no longer need to be filled, and we would therefore trim the PS requirement for that government agency. Just 1 minute. Pwede ba yun? Oo. Okay, the DBM does not provide funds for confirmed unfilled positions. Yes. Yes. This 399 minus 326, there is no budgetary allocation. It just allows you. I see. So we're dealing now with those. Remind me to ask the agencies with fiscal autonomy, because that's what I see as a problem, in quotation mark, where we see so many unfilled positions and then napupunta savings and savings, and then they don't revert the savings back to treasury. Things, walang nasasayang kasi allowed lang kayo, hindi naman ina-allocate pa sa inyo. Ayun, yun ang dapat sagot mo para clear ka agad sa akin. Okay, yun ang sasabihin mo sana. Okay. So, in short, para maintindihan ko, 399 are allowed, 326 are filled, 399 minus 326 ang
Unfilled but
bakante,
unfunded.
pero wala naman funding.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct po.
Okay. At dahil walang aplikante at gumagana naman kayo, okay na rin. Okay, sige. So, hindi nasasayang at nasasave para sa CO or MOE, except those with fiscal autonomy, and I will ask the same question to them. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Secretary Kuy, while we're at it, no? So you are proposing a budget of 412. And 55% of this is PS. Alam nyo, Secretary Kuy, tatagalugin ko na lang. No? What is the historical basis for this pattern? Dahil we have been in the chamber for some time, no? Whether you're talking about a family or a government, once your PS starts hitting close to 60%, even above 50%, parang it's not as cost-effective as you want it to be. Would that be a fair statement? From where you sit now. I'm not implying anything. No, I'm not dumping this in your lap. Now, why am I raising this issue? This issue has been raised. The unusual disparity between what we are applying in our limited resources to PS and what should be applied to operations. By the way, Director General Monteagudo, no, Alex, I observed the same about your proposed budget. So, prepare na lang kayo sa sagot. But anyway, I'm raising this issue because it cuts across the bureaucratic and the fiscal landscape. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right, no? But I suppose for a developing country like ours, by the way, I was going to ask Secretary Kuy, are we 100% in the PMS computerized? Ano ang percentage na may systems na tayo At saka, ano ang component na company? Boots on the ground pa rin. Yeah. Po. Yes, sir.
Honor, please. 90% of PMS personnel have computers, except only for the non-technical, like the drivers. So
Okay.
we are computer literate.
So it's more systems-based.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not saying, we have no need for human beings in your bureaucracy. No? I'm just saying this is something that will probably help us rationalize this observation. Okay. Second, yung PMS, is your deployment purely in Malacanang? I mean, meaning Malacanang here, or considering the working pattern and work ethic of our president, it's split between Manila and, let's say, Davao?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, sir. Actually, now we have several teams deployed in Davao, working on different shifts. So we've actually split. So we have a de facto PMS Mindanao, and we have presence in 8 regional field units,
Okay.
and 7 more in the coming year. In step with the president's priorities, because we have a highly mobile president.
Okay, I understand that. No? Again, I'm not saying it's the direction that we should take. What I'm saying is based on historical data and historical pattern for the deployment of our limited resources. Baka pwede nyo, Secretary, ko pag-aralan ito. No? Because every budget season, we talk about re-engineering the entire thing. And then here we are, faced again with an unusual continuation of the same pattern. I'm just putting that on your doorstep para put your heads together. Kayo nakakaintindi nito, no? Sabi nga ninyo, it's driven by need. No? We cannot argue against that. What I'm just saying is, this is a pattern that has been observed as far as I can remember. And I've been in the Senate for about 19 years lang naman. Okay, so tingnan lang ninyo kung ano pwedeng gawin dito para we can be more cost effective, no? And we can really rationalize the system. Okay? I hope you can take this into consideration. Salamat, Secretary Chris.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Curry.
Madam Chair, I just have some questions lang po. Secretary, nakita ko po itong MOE ho natin. Saan po gagamitin itong MOE? Ano po yung mga breakdown or maybe top 3 expenditures po ng MOE?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, sir. If we go to the National Expenditure Program, the top 3 would be supplies and materials, utilities, traveling expenses po, followed by training, professional services, general services, repair and maintenance. We have an old building that's currently being retrofitted to make it compliant with the 2010 National Building Code. So we're renting right now in a private facility.
Po dito, Secretary, allocation to, let's say, wages or consultants, or meron ba ho mga ganun?
Wages would be under the PS po.
PS. Pero wala hong any amount in the MOE used to compensate any individual, any services rendered?
The professional services po, sir. For instance, we have ICT consultants.
So these are just purely contract services. I see.
That's right po, sir. That's right.
2010 to 2014. Ma'am, the former Secretary Julia Abad has the jurisdiction over the PSF from July 2010 to October 2014.
And from 2014 to the present, it was E.S. Ochoa, then now E.S. Mejalde.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just ask him during that time.
Yes, ma'am.
How about the approval for the NDREAM Fund? That's not PMS also, that's the Office of the President.
Yes, ma'am.
So both the President's Social Fund and the NDREAM Fund, which needs clearance from the OP, will not have any due diligence or complete staff work done from PMS. Wala. You will
Yes,
not
ma'am.
be holding any secretariat functions in the approval of the NDREAM. When agencies would need clearance from the Office of the President to disburse their funds, let's say, for the Quick Response Fund to be filled up from the NDREAM Fund. Wala kayong kinalaman?
Wala po, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. Thank you. Small budget. You'd like me to proceed to NIKA? Is it okay with you, my colleagues? Yes. Okay. It- Mm-mm.
I was late, so my apologies, Madam Chairperson. Si Secretary Bongo, is he with you under PMS ba or? Yeah, sorry, I was late. Under Office of the President. Okay.
Just to answer that, yes, actually I'm answering for you. The special assistant is under the Office of the President, not under PMS. I didn't realize there was really a position named special assistant, but I think based on Memorandum Order 1, the PMS is now under the Office of the Special Assistant. Is that correct? And it's the first time. There was the Office of the Special Assistant in the Arroyo administration, but the PMS was not under the Special Assistant. It's only now. Is my understanding
Yes.
correct?
Based on EO1, sir.
So it's like your direct boss now, Madam Chair. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
under EO.
How was it during the Ramos administration? PMS was Lenny De Jesus. Did she report directly to FBR? Or was it also a special assistant? So anyway, from my understanding, it's the first time that the special assistant heads the PMS. But the Office of Special Assistant has been there all along, correct?
That's right, ma'am.
Okay.
The proper term is overseas
Overseas.
the PMS.
Okay. When will you be permanent head or because you're acting? So I guess in the next budget hearing we will have a permanent head. The permanent head is cabinet level, right?
Actually, under the DBM approved RAT plan, ma'am, the
You
position
second sec.
of PMS secretary reverted to undersecretary effective June 30, 2016. So there's that colatilia po. So the head PMS now has the rank of undersecretary.
Q, I think you can go back. I mean, ang dami yung trabaho, no? Sige. Yes, yes.
They have a
I
foreign,
think
trip,
you may
Madam Chair.
take your leave. That's 400 million of the budget. We proceed now to NIKA. They have been, just for the benefit of my colleagues, they've earlier been recognized already. So if we could proceed with your budget presentation and then the questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Your Honors.
Secretary Yusek Cui and the rest. Salamat. No, the PMS are always very efficient. Yung mga career, magagaling. As Director General, kayo po ang magbibigay ng presentation. Were you here last year as Director General? No. You're newly appointed.
Yes.
No, but I know your name eh. Where were you before?
PNP, ma'am. I was with the PNP. I retired last year.
Okay, that's where I saw you perhaps,
Yes.
or your name sounds familiar. Were you
Yes.
spokesman? No.
No, ma'am. I have been all over.
That's
with
why your name
investigation,
sounds
with
familiar.
operation, yeah.
But our ladies, I've encountered you every year, right? For the past 4 years. Ilan ba kayong babaeng palagi ko kinakausap? Eh? Parang tatlo lang ba kayo nun? Apat kayo, kaya sabi ko kulang eh. Magagaling sa NIKA, puro babae eh. Oo. Ay, hindi ko sinasabing hindi magagaling lalaki. Ibig sabihin, no, I didn't mean it that way. I meant, ang gagaling ng mga babae ng NIKA. Sige. Okay, present please.
Senator Lauren Legarda, ma'am, Chairman of Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Gregorio Honasan, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Senator Mig Subiri, Senator Laila De Lima, ma'am. Allow me first to present to you the NIKA's fivefold mandate quickly. Per Executive Order 246, NIKA is mandated to direct, coordinate, and integrate national intelligence activities of the government. The NIKA discharges this responsibility through ad hoc coordinating and intelligence policy-making bodies, the National Intelligence Board, and its subcommittees, the National Intelligence Committee. Both the NIB and NIC were created to serve as advisory bodies to the NIKA Director General on matters pertaining to integration and coordination of intelligence activities. The NIC in particular acts as a collegial body for the purpose of promoting unity and cohesion among members of the intelligence community, or Intelcom, as well as for prescribing policy guidelines and directives to various national government units engaged in activities involving national intelligence. 2. Prepare intelligence estimates of local and foreign situations for the formulation of national security policies by the President and the National Security Council, as provided for under EO 246 and AO 68. Intelligence information gathered by the agency through its collection and coordination activities both here and abroad are fused to serve as a basis for the preparation of intelligence estimates on national security related domestic and foreign developments for the appreciation of the President, the NSC, the Intelcom, and the Cabinet Cluster on Security, Justice, and Peace. AO number 68 also states that NIKA shall serve as the lead intelligence collection agency of the national government. It shall operate directly under the office of the President and shall be accountable to the Chief Executive. 4. Serves as the focal point for the national government's counterintelligence activities and operations, such as CI activities, which include but not limited to concerns on the presence of undesirable foreign nationals, particularly with regard to their possible espionage activities in the country. Destabilization involving acts within or outside legal means to undermine the incumbent administration, render his or her administration unstable and incapable of effective governance, with the end in view of unseating and replacing the President through unconstitutional means. Administrative intelligence or graft and corruption. Transnational crimes or issues, including those involving strategic materials, resources, and supplies. Target hardening on government facilities and vital installations, and government security services, including security education, VIP protection and security, records check, and background investigation. 5th, act as Secretariat to the Anti-Terrorism Council, as provided for under Republic Act 9372 and the Human Security Act of 2007. The NIKA has the following key strategies in pursuit of its mandates. 1. Direction and coordination of the government's national intelligence activities. This is being undertaken at both the national and regional levels, primarily through the NIC, Regional Intelligence Committees, or RICs, and expanded Regional Intelligence Committees, and the Special Monitoring Committees of the NIB. 2. The intelligence collection, build-up, and counterintelligence activities. This is primarily done through liaison, participation in conference, networking, and intelligence exchanges, as well as by undertaking action aimed at protecting sensitive government facilities, documents, personnel, and other strategic assets from sabotage and other espionage. Number 3, integration, fusion of information, and production of intelligence. Information shared by members of the Intelcom serve as inputs in the preparation of intelligence reports and assessment assessments on national security issues and concerns. Number 4, provisions of government security services. These include records check services, background investigation, security inspections, briefings and coverages, and processing of requests for the issuance of security plates. Organizational enhancement. This entails a sustained and determined review and improvement of internal processes or systems and procedures, as well as efforts to substantially capacitate agency personnel through training and meritorious performance recognition. This shall also include a strengthening of agency units to address the priority concerns of the current administration. For the summary of our proposed budget for fiscal year 2007, the NIKA is proposing a total budget of 723.16 million, broken down by allotment class as follows: 496.918 million, or 68%, for personnel services, 178.464 million, or 24%, for maintenance and other operating expenses, and 47.778 million, or 6.6%, for capital outlay. Compared with the fiscal year 2016 approved budget of 606.996 million, the fiscal year 2007 budget of NIKA has an increase of 116.164 million, or 19.1%. This is broken down as follows: 86.676 million, or 77% of the total increase, is for personal services, which shall be for the implementation of the first, second tranches salary increase under EO 201, adjustment on overseas and living quarters, allowance of foreign liaison officers due to increase in dollar exchange rate under MBM number 125, additional requirement for other personal services items such as long pay, terminal leave, compulsory leave of compulsory retirees, step increment due to meritorious performance, and retirement and life insurance premium. 8.36% of the increase, or 9.714 million, covers the cost of conducting information and communication technology trainings, purchase of computer supplies, and upgrading of internet subscription under the agency-approved Information System Strategic Plan, as well as the provisions for inflation. For capital outlay, it has increased by 16.774 million, or 14.44%. The total proposal for capital outlay is actually 47.778 million compared to last year. It will be used for the construction of the office building and perimeter fence of Regional Office 3 in Pampanga, the purchase of ICT equipment under ISSP, upgrading of the 3 elevators, acquisition of 5 utility vehicles for the regional offices, and replacement of old and aging equipment. Finally, we wish to inform the Chair that for the past 3 years, the NIKA's confidential intelligence funds has remained at 21.2 million, despite numerous security challenges besetting the country, to include but not limited to terrorism, cybersecurity threats, and the West Philippine Sea. Having presented our budget proposal, we are now prepared to provide details and clarification. Thank you. Good day.
Amendment daw ni Senator De Lima. Masyado daw maliit na yung 21. Ang liit naman ng inyong Intel Fund. I cannot believe that. Yun lang hiningi nyo sa akin last year. Yeah, because yun lang hiningi nyo eh. Why don't you put something realistic that you need?
Madam Chair.
O sige, si Senator De Lima first and then
Yes. Thank you.
Senator Lai, this is procedural.
Okay.
Alex, as you make your budget presentation, I mean, you should know better, just inputting this. Could you please tell your committee if you require an executive session? Because we are national television.
Yes, okay.
Diba? Live streaming tayo. Baka we are broadcasting to all interested parties our needs and capabilities.
Executive session.
Pahirapan naman natin
yes,
siya.
ma'am.
Okay, just let us know on certain items when you want, everybody out. Just a word of caution.
I agree with that. There might be matters here that would require executive session. But would you rather
think, Madam Chair, I think the point of Senator Honasan is that it would actually be just like, invocation of matters in inquiry in aid of legislation, Senate inquiry in aid of legislation, that you cannot just make a blanket invocation that you would want executive session.
I receive a
we c-
motion from you.
maybe we can start with non-sensitive matters, if any, before we proceed to sensitive matters that would require an executive session. That is my suggestion. Thank you. Or is the suggestion of
I receive a motion from Senator Onasan. Is it being seconded by Senator De Lima?
yes,
Yes.
I do.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you. We
Thank
now
you, ma'am.
request. Oh, I need another senator to second the motion.
Support,
Also.
Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
May we request all the media and all the stenographers as well, bawal ang stenographers sa executive session, hindi ba? And all the staff except Attorney Deblong and Attorney Rachel. Thank you.